So what types of content is increasing demand due to the growth and pressure being put on by Omnicom strategies and CRM systems to perform?
It really comes down to what I mentioned before around just providing value and some type of value as service to our customers. But I think it also comes down to the people driving these, let's say, these activities, right? So if you talk about the brand directors, I think there's really three things they need to focus on, right? And where we're trying to, partner with our brand directors, where understand, their roles and responsibilities, right? Maybe they shouldn't be focusing too much on creative, but maybe they should be focusing on filling the gaps, right? And understanding kind of, within the patient journey or healthcare provider journey, where this that we're present and where we're not, and where should we be? Understanding really around creating capabilities and value-added services, right? Just not campaigns. Let's not just go to the old model of just, throw as much out there as possible and maybe some of it works, but really focus on some targeted, promotion and understanding how we can add value. Digital space is becoming very noisy. In the past, you had a couple players that were doing well, and again, our customers weren't too annoyed, but as we are customers of other industries in the world, you can see at some point you can get inundated by a lot of communications, and at some point you're going to start turning some of those off. So we will see, I believe, in 21 and 22, some companies will just get left behind because from a marketing perspective, they really haven't focused on really what that message is and what value they're adding. And for the ones that do get that right, it's really going to come down to how can they continue to deliver that high level of service, but in the back end to make sure the products are there to support it. And lastly, it's as a brand manager, they need to understand really what portfolio of options do they have. So it goes back to the first point I mentioned around filling the gaps. When there is a gap, how can you fill that potentially with a solution that you have in place? And then you do that at scale as well. So whether you're selling something in CNS space or respiratory, ideally the channels and approaches are very similar. So how can we leverage those platforms to our best ability? And lastly, really to put all that together from let's say a digital operations and platforms perspective, which I focus on at Teva, is how do you make sure you have the systems and technologies in the back end to support all these activities up front? What we don't want to do is work with thousands of vendors and doing all these little pocketed information. What I think we've done at a good job is at Teva is really around consolidating all those efforts, having one central place where we store all our consent, right? Having a direct approach or a process on how we approach e-commerce and self-service, understanding from a CRM perspective, what's our core functionalities, and then from a roadmap, how we layering that on, whether you're Germany, whether you're the US, whether you're Japan, right? How does that work? And then working with the local markets to really localize that, because no one really likes someone from global telling them what to do, but it's more so, how do you create these high level activities that will then allow us to deliver the need that they need locally?
How do you measure success? When you're actually choosing a digital platform or you're looking to actually build something for a therapy area, if it be a patient, if it be for healthcare professionals, healthcare providers, how are you actually measuring the success of that particular project?
So it actually comes down to, even before we initiate the project, identifying what we're trying to solve for. And I think that's where a lot of people get lost around, because there's multiple different ways we can measure success. The ultimate success for a publicly traded company is sales, to be transparent. But there's other ways outside of just P&L to measure success. But again, that has to be defined early on before doing the activity. Now, I like to use the old model from P&G, your OGSM. So what are your objectives? Strategically, how are you going to do that? What are the goals? And then how you measure that, right? And if you follow those 4 simple steps, really, no matter what you're positioning, whether it's on patient solutions or whether it's around B2B sales and pharmacies, you will succeed.